please. Appreciate the gifts. All right, guys, we are back. Obviously, here on the Fire Sports Pod for Season 7, Episode 29. Powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. So let's get right into it. We're going to be going over, like I said earlier, our lottery picks, as well as the NBA, NHL, and where Giannis might end up. And that's where most of the talk's going to be, where Giannis is going to end up, because that's really the big news here. So I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets to get the number 1 pick. Why, you might ask? I mean, it would be pretty cool to pair Cooper Flag with LaMelo Ball and a Brandon Miller with Mark Williams if nothing happens to him. I think that's going to be a pretty crazy squad if you bring him there. I don't want to see him go to Washington. I'm sorry. Washington is a shit show of an organization. I don't think he's going to do well there. Obviously, you still have Jordan Poole there. You have a couple guys, but ain't nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something crazy where we're like, oh my God, like the Wizards are going to be something. If the 76ers fall out, the top 6, Thunder can get it. So a top 10 pick is crazy for them. If that happens, again, like I said earlier, I mean, the Thunder are on pace to be they're in a 2-2 series tie with Denver Nuggets. If they're able to win a championship, on top of that still get a top 5, top 10 pick, that is just absurd. I think that's just crazy to me. That has to be like one of the craziest things I've seen in a while if that happens. But for me, in general, like I said, you have Utah 14%, Washington 14%, Charlotte 14%. I truly think that Charlotte is going to get it. I hope he does. I think that would be pretty cool to pair him with LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams. I think that trio right there is going to be pretty crazy. So I would say Charlotte gets number 1. I'd go probably Washington will wind up getting number 2. I think Utah probably will stick with 3. I think the Pelicans get 4. I think Brooklyn might get it over the 76ers. I think Brooklyn might go 5. 76ers go 6. Toronto would stay at 7. Again, like I said, there's definitely, I think the Thunder will be able to get a top 10 pick. So, oh yeah, if you're a Wizards fan, you get Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper, that's a steal. Like, that's great. But I just don't want to see. I wouldn't want to see them go there because I know it's not going to work out. It's going to be a pretty shit show of an It already is a shit show of an organization. Ever since Bradley Beal, and that last one, the last time the Wizards were actually pretty good was when Russell Westbrook was on the team, and that was it. After that, it's been a shit show. And it's sad because the Wizards back then, when they were competing in the East with LeBron, John Wall, Bradley Beal, they were actually pretty good, man. They had a good stretch of games in time to be really good. If you're new to the live, don't forget to drop a like, share, and a follow. Again, guys, lottery pick is coming in about another 6 minutes to 5 minutes or so. So we'll see where most likely Cooper Flag will be heading, as well as the top 10 lottery picks. Again, San Antonio is in there. San Antonio can add some big-time dogs. What channel? It's on ESPN. Appreciate the share, BK and Matthew. So yeah, it's on ESPN right now. ESPN HD, to be exact. Like I said, the lottery picks are really good. There's a lot of good talent in this draft. It's going to be pretty cool to see where would Dylan Harper. I mean, obviously, if Charlotte ends up with Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey, that would be pretty crazy as well. So it really just depends on who you like, who you think is going to do well. I think if you add Cooper Flag to Charlotte, they're going to be really good. Not crazy good, but they're going to be in the right direction. If you add Cooper Flag to really much any of these teams, I just don't want to see him go to Utah. I don't want to see him go to Washington. I mean, Utah would be better than Washington, but I just don't want to see it. I want to see somewhere where I know he's going to compete. I know the team's going to be doing well. They're going to try to compete. And if it wasn't for LaMelo Ball getting injured left and right, the Hornets would have been probably at least more than 19 wins on the season, I think. Okay, great question. Who I got tonight, Knicks or Celtics? Personally, I hate the Celtics. I'm a Lakers fan. I'm going with the Knicks, but I'm going with the Knicks to win this series. Tonight, I think Boston ties it up 2-2. I think it's a closer game. I think the spread is 6.5, 7.5. The last time I checked, I forgot what it was exactly. So I do have the Knicks covering that. So it's going to be a closer game. I don't think there's going to be a blowout. I think I would be shocked if it is a blowout again for a Celtics win. But again, the Knicks are at the Garden. If the Knicks go up 3-1, I'm letting you guys know either Knicks win in 6 or Knicks win in 5. I don't think it reaches 7 games. If that is the case, that's just my personal opinion. But right now, guys, I'm watching the lottery. So once the lottery jumps in, I'll let you guys know who has what. But again, like I said, this is a very good draft. And it's gonna do wonders for some teams that maybe don't have the best chances to get the number 1 pick, like Dallas, like Chicago, like Portland. So we'll see what happens. I got Knicks money line tonight. All right. Again, that's not terrible. Do you have the Knicks like straight up winning, or do you just have the money line tonight? But nonetheless, guys, obviously we went over the NBA draft lottery, where teams are at, where teams could be. Again, this is deep draft. It's going to be cool to see where Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, and Cooper Flagg go. Obviously, those are probably going to be the top 3 picks in the NBA draft. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're going to be moving off from the NBA lottery, and we're going to go to something that's more important to me than going over the NBA playoffs right now. We'll be doing that in just a sec. But it's where the hell, I should say, is Giannis Antetokounmpo going? That is where I want to explore. It is absolutely ridiculous to say that Giannis is going to be moving from Milwaukee to a different team. It's weird to even say those words because Giannis has given so much to Milwaukee, given him a championship, have competed for multiple championships. I truly think that it is pretty crazy to even fathom those words. What do you mean he got hurt? Who got hurt? You talking about Giannis? Or you talking about somebody else? But nonetheless, guys, sources have been confirmed today by Shams Charania. Giannis Antetokounmpo will explore best fits outside of Milwaukee. So it's not just Milwaukee. It's going to be other teams involved. The 2-time NBA MVP has not made any firm decisions on his Bucks future after the franchise's 3rd consecutive postseason exit in the first round. And I did tell you guys, if you guys were listening, that Giannis will be moving on if they lost to that Pacer series. And again, obviously he's not moving on like legitimately, but there are talks for him to move him. Teams have approached the Bucks frequently over the years at the availability of Antetokounmpo as a normal exercise, as they are expected to ramp up. So Giannis definitely is going to be in the works. There's rumors about the Lakers getting him. I don't know about that. The package that we're going to have to put in is going to be really tough to get Giannis. Ultimately, it would be cool to see Giannis on the Lakers with LeBron and Luka. But I don't know if that works. I really don't. Because if we have to give up like viable options, Giannis really still can't shoot. So, yeah, he's great on defense, rebounder. We got the center. We got the guy that we need. But, like, who are we giving up to get Giannis? If you guys want to just throw in the chat who you guys think the Lakers could give up to get Giannis, I'd like to see what your thoughts are. For me, I don't think there's a package that we can give to the Bucks that will be enough to give us Giannis in return for what we're going to give them. It just wouldn't work for me personally. But we're going to take a pause on the Giannis thing right now. The lottery is in, and we have the San Antonio Spurs at 14, the Atlanta Hawks at 13, the Chicago Bulls at 12, the Portland Trailblazers at 11, Houston Rockets are at 10, Toronto Raptors are at 9, and the Brooklyn Nets are at 8. The New Orleans Pelicans got 7. The Washington Wizards got 6. Wow, the Wizards got 6. That's crazy. The 76ers got top 5. So the Thunder do not get a top 10 pick because the 76ers got above the top 5. So now the top 5 would be the wow. Number 5 is the Jazz. What the hell, dude? Okay. So the last 4 teams are left are the Hornets, which I got them at 1, the 76ers, the Spurs, and the Mavericks. Yo, what? That is crazy, dude. There's no way. I can't fathom that. That's pretty crazy. Top 4 are revealed. That would be either Edgecombe from Baylor, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, and Cooper Flagg. Dude, it's gotta be like it don't make any sense, bro. How are we having that? Like, you know what I mean? Like that just don't make any sense. But yeah, I'll let you guys know what happens there in just a sec. I'm gonna flip my screen once we go over the NBA playoffs, so you guys can see the bracket and where things are at. But again, on the topic of Giannis, where do you guys think Giannis will go? Type in the chat what you guys think Giannis will go. Because realistically, I don't think the Lakers are a realistic destination for Giannis. I really don't. Would it work? Possibly, but I just don't think it's a realistic spot. So if you guys are there, let me know what you guys think, where Giannis could end up or should end up. So from here, I want to see if this report has any teams that could be looking to bring him in. They might try and pair him up with KD. But I thought KD was leaving Phoenix. A lot of people are. I've read a report earlier at the end of the season where KD and the Suns are going to help KD find a suitable fit on another team. That's where I was like, well, then that's definitely not happening with Phoenix if they're going to try to move off of him. But realistically, there are a lot of teams that could use Giannis. It just really just depends on the package. Will the Bucks give up the right They got to give up the right package for Giannis, because if they're losing their MVP, their champion, their Finals MVP, their superstar, their cornerstone, their franchise player, they're going to get a lot of they're going to get picks and they're going to get players, but it just depends on where from. Maybe Miami. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jimmy Butler's not there anymore, but Miami, potentially, maybe. Obviously, I don't think he would go to like a small market team. Spurs. Let's go Spurs. It will be hard for a team that picks up KD also to pick up Giannis. Exactly. So I think that the KD Giannis thing might not happen. I mean, some reports I've seen is New York maybe trying to go for Giannis. I mean, that would be pretty crazy, having Giannis and Brunson in New York with Cat. I don't know how that would work, but that on paper, that's a pretty scary squad if I'm being honest. On paper, whew, Giannis, Cat, and Brunson, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, the Spurs are killing, man. They got the 14th, I believe they got the 14th pick, and now they're in the top 4. So they got 2 picks in the top 15. Yo, the Spurs are working, man. They got Victor. They got Castle. They got some young dogs on that team. Now they got Fox. They got Paul. They got a lot of dogs on that team. Now you're adding more youth. That's gonna be pretty crazy. But those are some of the teams that I think Giannis could end up with. It's got to be a teams that have a lot of picks, have a lot of assets, have a lot of players that they can move. and that are not like valuable options for that team to give away. But again, some crazy news I heard that Giannis is exploring some other options other than Milwaukee. Never thought I'd hear the day. But again, as we know, we've seen trades like this happen. Luka got traded to the Lakers mid-season. Cooper to the Mavs, man. If Dallas does pick up the number 1 pick, that would be pretty crazy. They lose Luka, they bring in Cooper Flag with Anthony Davis. Oh my God, that would be something. I could tell you that would be. And then you got Klay Thompson still there. You got Max Christie. You got a squad there. You got Kyrie Irving. Jesus Christ. So it would be if the Mavs. Let's say the Mavs get the number 1 pick. That would be Kyrie, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and either Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford. That's a fire 5 right there. And then coming off the bench, you got Max Christie and all them. So 76ers are praying to get the number 1 pick or the top 3 pick. They are praying. Lillard and Giannis were trouble in the regular season while he's leaving. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, it's not like they didn't say realistically that he's going to leave, but like they said that the reports are that he is looking other options. It's not just them. Wow. Well, the Hornets screwed it. They got the 4th pick. This is crazy. Live reaction right now. 76ers got the 3rd. That's not bad. So you could bring in either Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper. That's a good one. The Spurs got the number 2 pick. Wow. Dallas Mavericks got the number 1. Holy shit. Dallas Mavericks got the number 1 pick. Wow. That is one hell of a steal. Who would have thought the Mavs were going to get the number 1 pick? Damn. So that means if they go with Cooper Flag, you have a starting 5 of Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, or Derek Lively. Usually it's Derek Lively. Bro, that Luka trade did pay off. The lowest odds to win the NBA draft lottery since it began in 1985. The Mavericks had a 1.80% to get the number 1 pick, and they got it. Like, how does that even make sense? But, I mean, the Mavs, this has to be some definitely NBA rigging here because there's no way. They felt bad for Nico Harrison and all the bull that he had to take for trading off Luka. So they say, you know what? We're gonna help him out, and we're gonna give them the number 1 pick. But dude, the starting 5 would be nuts for the Mavericks. It's gonna be crazy. I can't fathom my thoughts on how the Mavericks pulled off that shit. But hey, to each his own. They're able to get the number 1 pick in Cooper Flag. Potentially, again, we don't know. Obviously, we all think that Cooper Flag's going, but we've seen some crazier things in the past. But I think the Mavs would be stupid. They don't need a big. They have one. They have multiple. They have like 4 with Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively 3. You don't need a point guard. You got Kyrie Irving. You got Maxi Christie. You got dogs. And really the only thing you're missing is a 3 or a 4. You can plug Cooper Flag at the 4, but a 3 that can really play. And he's not a selfish player. He could shoot the shit out of the ball. He can make some great plays. He's a he has a great IQ. So I think the Mavs got it, dude. The trade definitely might have paid off. And Cooper Flag speaking to them right now. But Jesus Christ, man, who would have thought the Mavs would get the number 1 pick after they traded Luka? Like, that's pretty crazy, man. I don't know. Looks like they got some. There's some home cooking there with the NBA, but it is what it is. It wasn't like, again, the Hornets got a top 4 pick. Who knows if Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey is going to go 2 and 3? Maybe they drop. Again, no matter what, even the guy from Baylor at number 4 would be great. That's a good pickup. But it would have been cool to see Cooper and LaMelo and Brandon Miller. That would have been a pretty good trio, and not to mention Mark Williams. So, all right, now we got to come back to the podcast. Obviously, we know the lottery just happened. The picks were in. Mavs got the number 1 pick. Do you believe in miracles? LOL. Congrats, Mavs, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect saying. Do you believe in miracles? I mean, the Mavs were definitely looking for a miracle, and they got it. They were the fourth lowest odds since 1995 in the draft lottery to land the number one pick with 1.80%, and they got it. Like, who would have thought? Again, I told you, don't be surprised if there's some crazy-ass things happen. And as we know, Mavericks had one of the worst odds to get it, and they were able to get the number one pick. All right, now we're going to be moving on to the NBA playoffs because, man, like I've been saying, no way it's not rigged. No way it's not rigged. Yeah, I mean that shit is pretty crazy, but I don't know. User 499. I have no idea. Shit's ridiculous. But again, congrats to the Mavs. They definitely needed it. Without a doubt, they definitely needed a safety blanket there because they were going down fast without that. But if you guys are tuning in, don't forget to watch the Knicks and the Celtics. That's about to come on in the next couple minutes. So that's going to be one hell of a show. I'm going to be watching that as soon as I get off the podcast here. But yeah, so far, guys, we're 20 minutes into the show. We're going to be going over to NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs, and then that will be it for our show here on Recap Monday. All right, guys, I'm going to flip the screen so you guys can check it out. All right, so we're going to be going over the left side of the bracket, and that's the Western Conference bracket. Obviously, we know the Thunder swept the Grizzlies, and they advanced to play the Nuggets, who eventually beat the Clippers in a Game 7. That series right now is 2-game apiece. What a game. Again, Nikola Jokic, I don't really think – I'm going to have to disagree with what Charles Barkley said and some of the guys said. Or not Charles Barkley. Some TikToker I saw was saying, Jay Williams, the other Jalen Williams, is playing good defense, the bigger guy on Jokic. I don't think so. I think he's just missing shots that he normally makes. He has to be sped up a little bit. I would have to agree with Kenny the Jet Smith when he said that last night. It looks like they're speeding him up, and that's really affecting his shot, his ability to hit some shots, make layups, get to the hole. So I definitely think that is definitely a problem for Nikola. But again, I don't think that that's really going nuts. I think the Nuggets will have a chance to be back. Stephen A. Smith might have said that, LOL. Well, if he did, I did not see it. I haven't watched First Take in a while. I usually do. I just haven't been able to. But he probably did say it. But again, this is my professional opinion. I'm a coach, so I look at things and I'm seeing it. And usually you see Luka and you see Nikola Jokic. One of the things that makes them great is they play at their own pace, and their pace could be slow. Like not a lot of teams, a lot of players are able to play at that pace and still be able to score the basketball the way they do. And I think Nikola, being who he is, being his size and whatever, he has to play like that. And that's his superpower because normally people are not used to that. And I think that is why we're seeing Nikola have one of the worst shooting performances and percentages he's had ever in a playoffs or in a game. He's shooting like under 30% in the last 3 games. And he's not scoring. He hasn't scored over 30. He hasn't scored over 25 in 2 straight games up until last night where he scored 27, but on like a 7 for 24 shooting. So definitely not the recipe for success for the Nuggets. Now it's going back to OKC. I have the Thunder winning in 6 games. So I think the Thunder take the next 2 games. Will depend on how well the Nuggets play. I think obviously Game 6 is a must win if they go down 3-2. But I think tomorrow is a big-time, a must-win game for them. If they go down 3-2, it's going to be tough. Obviously, you don't want to go into a 3-2 hole or a 3-3 game going back to OKC. So if the Nuggets are able to get the job done in OKC, they're going to have to try to close it out in Denver. Because if not, and it gets to a Game 7, I think the Thunder are winning by far. That's not even close. Pretty much back against the corner is a good word, a good way to say it. It's really just do or die for the Nuggets. I just don't think they have enough firepower with Michael Porter Jr. not being able to lift his left shoulder. Russell Westbrook has been playing the best pretty much this entire series consistently out of everybody for the last 3 games. And it hasn't been good enough for 2 games. So I think the Thunder just have too much firepower, but what they do have is championship and big-time experience, and that's what is keeping them in this series because as you saw in Game 3, where the Nuggets were able to prevail in overtime, that was because of immaturity by the OKC Thunder's coaching staff as well as the players. You don't have 9 possessions in overtime where you keep the damn ball in 3 different players' hands and you wait till the shot clock's down to like 6 to make a move to the basket. I think that was a little bit of immature there, and that's what's kind of their downfall in Game 3. But yeah, I still got the Thunder in 6 games. Now, Timberwolves Warriors, it's a must-win tonight for the Warriors. It's a must-win, and I'm going to take them to get the job done against Minnesota tonight. It's a must-win. If they don't win, this series is over. It goes back to the Timberwolves. They're down 3-1. And the Timberwolves are going to get gentleman sweep. I don't care if Steph Curry's coming back from the injury or not. He's not going to be 100%. They need to get a win tonight. It is a must win, and I have them doing that, just that to tie up the series going back to Minnesota. If they don't, series is over. Their backs are up against the wall as well. They got to get the job done. It's imperative that they do. If not, series is over. And it sucks because this is the first time Steph Curry has ever had a soft tissue injury like this. Especially not on the ankle. It's on the the hamstring. Who would have thought it was off a normal jump shot? So again, you just never know. You know what I mean? It just happens. Injuries are just part of the game, and you just got to keep pushing through. So hopefully he can get back in Game 6, and they're not down 3-1. But he does have experience coming back. He came back from against OKC in 2016, but then he let it go in 2016 against the Cavs in the finals. So that's my pick. I have the Timberwolves in 7 games. But obviously, if the Warriors do not win tonight's game, the series is done in 5. Spurs, trade the 2nd, 14th, and 2 future firsts for the first pick. Also, it's so rigged, bro. I agree. Spurs, I agree. That's not a bad take. I just don't think the Mavericks are gonna go for that. I don't know. They're definitely in a win now mode, even though Anthony Davis is young enough to still in his prime. I think with Kyrie Irving coming off an ACL tear, and him with that, I just think it's going to be tough. Throw Castle in there if we need to. Are you talking about Castle? Stephon Castle, your guy that you got last year or 2 years ago? I know it's Nico Harrison, and he could do that. A Vassell. Just remind me who's that? Oh, Devin Vassell. Okay, yes. Okay. I still don't know if the Mavericks do it, man. They have a lock for Cooper Flag. But are you really mad as a Spurs fan? Obviously, you would want Cooper Flag, but you got Victor Wembanyama, you got De'Aaron Fox, you still have Chris Paul, you have Stephon Castle, you got some dogs, and you're adding either Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey. So are you really mad about that and you wanted the Cooper Flag? But if you look at it, you bring in Ace Bailey, right? It could help us get Giannis, or we just draft Ace. Okay, I see what you're saying. If you get the number 1 pick, you could trade that to the Bucks to get Giannis and a couple other guys and some picks. I see where you're going with this. I would probably just stick with Ace Bailey. Is Wemby recovering? Yes, Wemby should be recovering back next year. I haven't heard anything about his any setbacks. So if the starting lineup would be about this for the Spurs, it would be literally you would have De'Aaron Fox at the 1. You would have Stephon Castle, I would probably say at the 2. Victor would be at the 5. Ace Bailey would be at the 4. And then you plug in a 3. So I potentially would believe that's going to be a fire squad right there, even if you're not able to get Cooper Flag. So now we're going to go over the East. Fox, Stephon, Vassell, Ace/Giannis/ Coop, Wemby. I see. That's funny. But yeah, no matter what, dude, I think the Spurs are set for the future and are going to be in a real good spot, without a doubt. Now, Cavaliers, Pacers. This has been a roller coaster of a series, to say the least. Pacers up 3-1. I still think the Cavs can come back and win this series. I really do. It really just depends on Donovan Mitchell's health and if he's able to play in Game 5. If not, then the series is going to be over. Potentially, the Cavs could get it done in Game 5 at home, but I think if Donovan is injured, and not able to go anymore, I think they lose in 6 games in Indiana. I had the Cavs winning in 6 games. Obviously, that can't happen. So my best bet is I'm sticking with the Cavs pick, and I'm taking them to win in 7 games against the Pacers. But that's going to be tough. Then we have the Knicks and Celtics. This series is unbelievable. It's about to start now. Knicks are up 2-1. They were down 20 points in first 2 games in Boston. Came back to win both of them on 2 Mikal Bridges' defensive plays. Got the job done. And eventually went up 2-0. They got blown out in the Garden in the first game back in Game 3. Kind of predicted that was going to happen. Didn't think the Celtics were going to go out like that. And I have a similar prediction. I think this series gets tied up 2 games apiece, going back to Boston. I think New York gets a win against Boston. Then I think in Boston, and I think Boston gets a win back in New York. And I think this goes back to Game 7 in Boston. I think Brunson delivers it, and Brunson gets a game winner / with time on the clock and puts it away. What if they keep Fox, Steph, Vassell, but trade Ace, Giannis, Coop, but trade for Wemby for KD? But why would you trade? Now, my thing is, why would you trade Wemby, though? Because Wemby's your guy. When you're a young dude, like, why would you trade Wemby? He might be the face of the NBA in the next 5 years or so. So I don't. What if you keep Fox and Steph, Vassell, but trade Ace? Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't really like that trade. Not a bad thought. I don't really agree with that. But yeah, I got the Knicks in 7 against the Celtics. It's been one hell of a series so far. But we're going to be moving on to the NHL playoffs, and then that will be it for my show here today. Yeah, KD is way too old to make that move. Way too. Now, if we're talking 5 years ago, then that's different. But yeah, KD's way too old. Hey, he's not going to last that long. But again, like I said, obviously it's still KD, but KD is so much older. I don't see the Spurs making that move. It just doesn't make sense. And why why even pick for the number 1 pick? You know what I mean? So this is the NHL playoff picks. We have Dallas and Winnipeg. Dallas is up 2-1. I have Winnipeg winning this series. I believe in 7. So I took Winnipeg to win. Obviously, Dallas won the first game. Back in Winnipeg, in Dallas, I got Winnipeg to tie up the series 2 games apiece the next time they play. Then we go with the Oilers in Vegas. That is one hell of a series. Vegas wins against the Oilers at the buzzer, literally, with like less than a second to go. I have the Oilers advancing against Vegas, but I have this game going 6 or 7 games. Series going 6 or 7 games. So I'll take the Oilers with a dub in this series. Again, this has been a Smouth Mash series all day, every day, even the first 2 games with Oilers winning. I thought Vegas would put up a little bit more of a fight in the first 2 games, but still, it is what it is. Vegas gets the job done, though, because if not, they were down 3-0. That series was over. Knights to the Cup. I don't think the Golden Knights are making it this year. Sorry, not this year. Not this year. I think their run ends in round 2, if I'm being honest. Now, moving to the next side, you have Toronto taking on Florida. This has been crazy. I mean, Toronto went up 2-0. Florida came back and won 2 straight. So ultimately, I have Florida winning this series. But damn, this series is just ridiculous. I did not expect Florida to go down 2-0 and then to come back and tie it 2-0. To me, it just didn't work. I have Washington in the Stanley Cup Finals and winning it, so I'm hoping that Washington's able to get the job done against the Hurricanes. But they're down 2-1 right now, so it's going to be tough for them to get the job done. But ultimately, I got the Hurricanes losing to the Capitals. But yeah, guys, other than that, that's pretty much it for the show here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I certainly did. Obviously, we all know the NBA lottery is upon us, and that is pretty much it, guys. All right, so I will see you all on Friday / or Thursday, depending on what I have to do for the pod. Again, guys, the game's about to start, so I'm trying to get this off so that I can watch the game. But again, guys, appreciate all the support, and I will see you all on Thursday or Friday. So stay tuned for a post to let you guys know when that's happening. But again, Elwachon, appreciate all the comments and staying on the show for the good length. All right, guys, peace out.